Hi, this is Marnie Pearson and Sue Painter back with our online reality show, our Marnie and Sue's Peep Show. And today we're excited to be talking to you about live events, how to decide when to go to live events. Also, some of my takeaways from Oprah's The Life You Want weekend that I just went to in Atlanta. And we're also going to be talking about how to transform defeat into income. So I think those are going to be some fun subjects. And interestingly enough, I've got some quotes from the Oprah event that go along with this defeat failure thing as well. So Sue, do you want to talk a little bit about how you decide when you want to go to a live event? Because I know you're going to one soon here.
I am actually. I'm gonna be going this next week out to San Diego. I'm gonna be attending Mike Koenig's Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer Training. It's a new system for managing how you put social media out and how you do all kinds of live casting and so forth. So I'm going to go out there, and I'm actually going to have Mika, one of my virtual assistants who does a lot of my tech stuff for me, join me out there. So I'm going to be doing that for 3 days. Now, just let me tell you, here's how I look at things, because 3 days out of my time is a lot of time. My time is really valuable because I have clients coming, that really need in. Plus, it's on the West Coast, so it's a day to get over there and a day to get back since I'm an East Coast person. So how do I look at whether I want to go to a live event, whether it's far away or close? There's a couple of things that enter in. One thing is I want to know that I have personal knowledge of the folks who are going to be leading the event and that they have something that is really rich and worthy for me to spend my time learning. And in this case, I know that Mike is really brilliant when it comes to driving traffic to your website and driving traffic to opt-in pages, so I know that I can learn from him. So I look at, do I know the person? Do I know that they'll have quality information? Are they going to have a whole lot of guest speakers? Because if they are going to have guest speakers, that usually means it's going to be a pitch fest, because every single person who gets on that stage is usually there for free, and what they're doing is they're going to make an offer at the end. I don't really so much want to spend my time to fly across the country and sit for 3 days in a room and listen to a pitch fest, so I'm not about that. I want to be there because I want to learn. I also know that the other people who are going to be attending this conference are going to be really interested in the most innovative, creative ways around to drive traffic to their business, and I want to be able to network and meet those people. Maybe we'll do some cross promotions together. Maybe it'll be a way that I will pick up new clients. Who knows? I may find somebody there that I want to learn from. So it's a lively, good group of people, and that is meaningful for me. So I look at the group, I look at the teacher, and of course things like location factor in. I'm more likely to give them, if it's a maybe conference and it's something I can drive to, I might do it. If it's a maybe conference and I've got to fly across the country and stay in an expensive hotel, I won't do it. So those are just some of the things I look at. You have to look at live events. What is it costing you, not just monetarily, the flight and the hotel and the meals and the cost of the live event, but also all of that time away from your office. In this case, it's a week for me, and that's a lot of time away from the office. So I just have to weigh and value that, and I think you should too. I always like to say I want to go somewhere where I can meet people and I can learn something and I can come back and implement it and actually monetize my time away from the office. So that's how I look at things. And Marnie, I'm sure you have some things in your mind about how you pick and choose live events. Like you just went to Oprah's event in Atlanta, so what made you decide to go to that event versus not? I know it's close to you, but besides that, because you're a busy lady.
Yeah, actually my friend Laura West had purchased 2 tickets. It was her birthday month, and she's like, I really want to see Oprah. And so she bought these tickets, and she's like, who do I want to take? So she invited me, and I honestly went because I wanted to be able to go and hang out with Laura for a day and have a little bit of a break, a little girl time. And I was also excited to see some of even the guest speakers. Elizabeth Gilbert is one of my favorite. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and that book was pivotal for me. So I enjoy listening to her, and I really was excited to see hers. Well, I was really pleased with all of it, actually. Every speaker was really good, and it was not a pitch fest or anything. Yeah, so would you like me to go ahead and share a little bit of what I got from that, or?
Yeah, I'm especially interested in Elizabeth Gilbert. Eat, Pray, Love is also one of my favorite books because all the places that it goes, you know, it's Italy, India, and Bali, and those are three of my favorite places in the world. So when I was reading about her time in Bali, I was remembering my time there, and the same for the other countries. I really loved how she brought the countries to life, but also the story and what she learned about her life. So Eat, Pray, Love is a cool, very cool book. So yeah, tell me about what she had to say, and also everybody else.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is when she got on the stage, I just put my notebook down. I was just like, I want to just experience this and really listen. And she did a really good job. She talked about the hero's journey, and I use that a lot when I teach people how to write books. I have a whole segment on how to craft your story using the hero's journey. And so she did it from the perspective of our lives are a quest. Our lives are like the hero's journey. And she talked about, they really brought out when you out to change your life, reinvent yourself. A lot of it was around the subject of reinvention, that you're going to hit something difficult. You know, you think it'd be a piece of cake, but no, you're going to slam up against some tests, and you're going to have to figure out who's your allies and who's your enemies, and you're going to probably hit your dark night of the soul somewhere at that point, and then come up out of it and have your battle and win and come back and return with your elixir to share with the world. And so she was talking about that a lot. I found a little clip from the Atlanta event and put it on my personal wall if you want to see that one clip where she tells that story. So, but one of the things that stood out to me was Oprah was talking about how she reinvented. You know, she let her show go. She starts this network, and everybody's kind of giving her a hard time because why isn't it an instant success, you know? And just because somebody's a successful, talented person does not mean they can jump into something totally new and make it just take off from the get-go. Mm. And she was talking about, I was kind of listening to her from the perspective of a business person the whole time. You know, what business clues can I get from Oprah? And there was one thing that stood out to me as she was talking about all these people she'd interviewed over the years, whether it was a criminal in prison who had murdered someone and was on death row, mm-hmm. or the president of the United States, or anyone in between. When they got done with being interviewed, they all said, "Was that good? Is that good enough? Is that what you want?" You know. Uh-huh. And she said, everybody wants validation. It doesn't matter who they are, even. Yeah. Even the president of the United States is going to say, is that what you want? Is that, you know? And she said, when you know that, let me see if the quote she said was, validation is really what each of us is seeking. Am I okay? Do I matter? They want to be heard. When you know that, you have power. So giving people a platform to be heard, or giving them validation when you're working with them one-on-one, or anything in your business, when you allow people to feel validated and heard, that's really what everyone's craving.
Yeah, that is what everyone's craving. And that kind of leads into the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, of how do you take a defeat and what you do with that defeat. It really is aligned. So I'll go over there, and then if you want to come back to the Oprah event, we can do that too. I got a question the other day from someone who said that she had worked really hard to put together a local live event, and only 2 people showed up. She worked really hard to do it, and she felt defeated, and she just wanted to give up, and so forth and so on. And I thought about that for a minute, and you know, what happened to her was she felt like her hard work was not validated, right? I mean, when she had a small turnout at her live event, she felt like she was looking for validation from other people, and when only 2 people came to her live event, she felt like that was not enough validation for her. But here's the thing. We really live better when we self-validate, when we know within ourselves and are confident enough within ourselves that we know that what we offer is good, and if it happens to be an evening or an afternoon when only a few people show up at what we offer, then we still put it out there, and we still go through the action of making what we want to take live into the world be live. And in a way, Marnie and I do that, because often, even though a lot of people have signed up to watch these Peep shows, often as not, we don't have anybody who watches it live. People will watch the replays instead. But we don't sit here and say to each other, well, gosh, nobody showed up today, so maybe we shouldn't do a Peep show anymore. Maybe we should not do the Peep show. We just keep putting it out there because we absolutely know that people are hungry for this kind of behind-the-scenes information. So what I said to her, this gal who was upset because only a few people had come to her event and she felt defeated, is here's the trick as a business person, but not even as a business person, just as a person in your life. Change that feeling of defeat into a feeling of curiosity. Because here's what happens. First of all, the thing happens, whatever the situation is. And then second of all, you have a reaction to what happened. The thing that happened is neutral. It's neither bad nor good. Your reaction to it is the thing that starts taking you down into a downward spiral of defeat. So if she can sit there and be curious about why only 2 people showed up, after she gives herself some time and she, you know, the next day when she wakes up, has some coffee, or maybe a few days later when she's ready to dissect it, she needs to ask herself, you know, did I push this as well as I should have pushed it? Did I have it at the wrong time of day? Should I have invited people more than one time? Was the copy that I used to advertise it compelling enough? Be curious about your defeat, because if you can be curious about it, well, then you can turn it into income. If you are not curious about it and you allow that defeated feeling to rule your life and your business, you're not going to be successful. So it is really about taking that defeat and turning it into money, and you do that through curiosity.
Well, it fits perfectly with some of the stuff that I got from this weekend. Oprah said, sometimes when you're involved with stuff that doesn't work, what doesn't work is information.
Yeah.
It's just giving you the information. Failure is life at its most poignant, pointing you in a new direction.
Yeah.
So if you're bumping up against something that's not working, it's just information that, okay, that doesn't work, you need to tweak, you need to adjust, go in a new direction. And then Liz Gilbert brought up, follow your curiosity, not necessarily your passion. Because she was saying a lot of people, they don't feel a passion about anything, they're not sure what it is. Because some people just don't feel that. You know, just what are you curious about? Follow the curiosity. So I like what you're bringing out about curiosity. Okay, why did this not work? Okay, I'll tweak. How could I? And just keep your feet moving instead of just standing there paralyzed because something didn't work.
I really like that thing you said about follow curiosity instead of passion, because I have had a few clients over time who really didn't seem very passionate about what they were trying to build, but yet they were very curious about what they were trying to build. They would go back and do the research, and they would try this and that till they found a little path forward that would work for them in their business. In fact, I have one like that right this very minute. And she really is curious. She loves doing the background research about the topic that she wants to develop training on and bring out to the world. But I don't see her as a real, quote, passionate person. So that quote is helpful to me for her. It makes me think about people who are not like lively and passionate. What is it that they're curious about underneath? And you can find that out by figuring out how they spend their time, because people will spend their time on what they're curious about. But that's a little thing that you know, we can always watch that in ourselves as well as in the people we work with. I think it's so cool you got to go. I've always wanted to go to the Oprah thing too. Maybe one day I will, but I think she would be fascinating to listen to on stage.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was well done. I mean, they tried to make it interactive. Like I have this little, I don't know if it'll light up right now. Usually when I just touch it, it'll light. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, so they had everybody wearing these little bracelets, and they'd color coordinate what they were talking about, and your wristbands would light up, or you know, it's like kind of tied the whole. She was really going for the community feel, I believe. You know, and so this was kind of a way to tie everybody together and make them feel like you got this huge auditorium full of people, but they still feel like they're connected in some way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating the way she did that.
That's cool. That would be useful things to think about. You know, if you were ever going to have your own live event and you want to build community, you could think about those ways of some of the things she did to make it experiential and interactive and make it build a sense of community. That's kind of cool. Those are good tips to write down. Yeah. Writer downers. Yeah.
Sorry.
Writer downers, I call it. Allie Brown will say, that's a writer downer, you know, like remember it. Put it in Evernote or wherever you keep all of your ideas. So
yeah, and she gave us a big like a really nice program, but it had inspirational quotes and photography through it. But she also had worksheet things where she got out there, like in her blue jeans and her T-shirt, and she's telling you how to work through, exercises. So she actually had them. It wasn't just speakers. It was she had you working some stuff, and I was kind of impressed the way she did it. It was simply a simple program. It wasn't hugely complicated.
Yeah.
But it was experiential, even with that many people. They had somebody come in and do, was it Soul Cycle?
Oh.
You do exercise while they shout all these positive things to you about how wonderful you are, and or motivational, inspirational exercise type thing. So you got all these people in the stand, in the bleachers or the stands, socking and punching and
I'm great. I'm great.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Punching away the negativity, letting go of the past, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Anyway.
I think Oprah gets it about how important it is to stay around positive people and to stay away from people who are negative and who are downer people. I try to do that in my life, and I know that when you're I'm always telling people who are trying to build a business, surround yourself with people who will be supportive of your idea, not people who are doubting of your idea, because it will just drag you down that much faster. So I think that's a cool idea. Very cool idea. Huh. The other thing that Marnie and I kind of wanted to bring up today that goes along with what we've been talking about is, the reason that we started doing this Peep Show is we knew that we were both in the process of reinventing our own businesses, because if you are in business for very long, you know that you constantly have to change your business, either around the margins to take advantage of trends, or in the core of the business. Sometimes you really need to really do a solid, huge reinvention. Sometimes you're doing it around the margins. Like if you are keeping the same core business but you redo your website, I say that's a refresher rather than a reinvention. But sometimes you really need to go deep and you need to really look at the core of your business. And Marnie and I have both been doing that over the last year or so for different reasons, really. But we're curious about the things that work better now. We're curious about what it is that we can really do to hone in and really serve our clients in the best possible way that feels helpful and good to them, and that helps them get where they want to go and out of whatever their stuck place currently is. So we've been thinking a lot about reinvention, and we keep talking about it a little bit in the Peep Show every time. But the reason we talk about it is because we are both in the throes of it, and we know so many people who we talk to, whether they're our clients or not, who are also in the throes of reinvention. Or maybe they're searching for what to invent the first time to put out into the marketplace. So we just wanted to bring that up and let you know that, sometimes you kind of wobble around, you try one thing, you try another, but you have to keep going on a path. Don't try it just once and then shut it down. If we had done the Peep Show just one time and shut it down, we would have never known where it might take us. So, and Marnie, I don't know what you have to say about that, but that whole theme of reinvention is something that we'll keep talking about and bringing forward, because you always, at some level, either on the margins or in the core, you always are reinventing yourself when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you have to stick with things and tweak them, because they rarely work the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth time.
Yeah.
You just, didn't you say one time, don't give up on that idea until you've tried 7 different ways or something like that?
Yeah, I tell my clients, don't come to me and tell me that the idea you came up with was a bad idea until you've tried it 7 different ways, and 7 different ways it hasn't worked, and then I might be willing to have the conversation with you that maybe it's not the best idea. But you have to try it 7 different ways first, because sometimes it is just that repeating and gathering up the energy and the steam underneath it. Kind of like Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, which is one of my favorite books ever. He talks about when they look like they're an instant success, they're really not an instant success at all. They put years and years and years and years into the practice or whatever it is they're doing, and then all of a sudden there's a tipping point and they fall over into the public eye. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a fabulous book. It's really applicable to your own life and to business. Like if you want to be a good tennis player, or you want to be the best cook, or whatever the deal is, there's always a tipping point there. And he says, by the way, that you have to practice 10,000 hours before you get to that tipping point. I'm just asking you to try something 7 times. So I'm easy compared to him.
I heard Stephen Covey. He must have been quoting him talking about the 10,000 hours.
Uh-huh.
And I started calculating how many hours have I spent in online marketing, and it was like way out. It was like 40,000 hours or something,
Yeah.
or with technology or different things like that. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now I get why I feel like, okay, I got that down, So
Exactly.
yeah.
And you and I both play piano, and it's the same way. You practice and practice and practice and practice for that one moment when you're performing for somebody, right? Back in the day when you're taking piano lessons and going off to your little recitals. So, yeah, I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
And I got rid of my piano when we moved to Nashville. I'd had that piano since I was 4 years old, and we schlepped it all over the country, and it was old. It was just time to get rid of it. But I have a keyboard now. And so I've got to teach myself how to use the keyboard because it's very different than a piano. I run out of keys. It's short compared to a piano. So, I guess, are we done? Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
Well, you brought up the piano, and this is a little bit off subject, but I've been playing around with the piano lately because I learned to play exactly what's written. Don't vary. If you mess up, you got to go back. And then I started to play for congregations at church, and I realized, okay, I can't. If I mess up, I got to keep going.
Right.
You can't go back and fix. And then lately, I've started to just sit down and play whatever comes. And I did that at first, and then I stopped, and I asked myself, why did you stop? And it's like, what if I come up with something wonderful and I haven't captured it and I can't ever play it again? So I started to stick a recorder at the end of the piano. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But lately I haven't been recording anything. I just play.
Yeah.
Let whatever comes, just to be in the moment. So Laura West and I had this conversation because Rob Bell at Oprah's event was talking about really being in the moment of the little day-to-day things, really that's where the joy in life is in those little moments. And we were talking about how we're so trained to walk around taking pictures and Facebook them, and we're all about documenting our lives and posting it all, but sometimes we just need to let the inspiration flow through and let it just be there in that moment. Just not take a picture of our food at the restaurant. It's like there's something to that, just being in the moment. So.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Bill and I live in a neighborhood where a lot of people gather at the pool in the evening in the summertime, and we usually go down there about 5:30 or 6 and sit around and talk to friends till 8:30. And I never take my phone, or very rarely do I take my phone. And I'll notice that there'll be 25 of us in a circle all gathered around talking, and there'll be 6 or 7 women who are on their iPhone checking to make sure they haven't heard from their grandkid or their kid or whatever. And I'm like, nobody's so important that the world can't go without you for 2 hours. I mean, be present with the people you were with. If you want to go be with your kid, go be with your kid. But it's rude to me to do that. So I've practiced leaving my phone at home so that I can be in the moment. We have gotten ourselves so tied to technology that we think we have to have the instant answer. But the truth of the matter is sometimes we get a richer answer if we let that go and we see and we really stay with the people we're with. So, rarely will I take if we go off to a party somewhere, rarely will I take my phone unless I just know I want to take some pictures for whatever reason and stick them up on Facebook. So I don't know. There's that thing about being in the moment is really true. And it is that true in business. If you're present and you're really listening, then you see opportunity in business. If you're bound to determine that your business is going to go down a certain path and only that path, then you're going to miss opportunity because you're going to have blinders on to the things that come around you and come up and say, hey, this could happen or this could happen. So, yeah. Okay, so Marnie and I have the bad news that we are going to be skipping the Peep Show next week because Marnie has a really intense week with her new program about writing a product in a week. And Marnie, I think you should say something about that and give people the link in case they want to join you.
Yeah, I'm doing another webinar today, a free webinar on that, on how to create a product in a week or less, and really going to be diving deeper into that and showing you kind of a glimpse of the templates and the things that I use to do that. And you can get on that webinar today at 1 Eastern, marniepearson.com/unplugged/income. So marniepearson.com/unplugged/income.
Cool. And will there be a replay available for folks who missed that or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna replay that. So.
Okay. So even if you happen to hear this afterwards, you could probably still go to that link and leave your name and your email address, and Marnie would send you the replay of that webinar. I think it's awesome. I need to, honestly, if I were going to be in town, I'd sign up and do it myself. It's really cool to be focused enough to get a product done in a week, and I've got tons of products sitting on my shelf I need to get out the door. So, but I next week will be in San Diego and at the Mike Koenig thing, so I'm traveling part of the week, and then I'm at the conference part of the week, and then I'm taking the opportunity while I'm in San Diego to meet with a couple of clients and a couple of friends I have out there. So we'll have a couple of days of some refreshing play stuff, and then 3 days of, you know, really hunkering down and learning the traffic geyser system. And I come back, I'll have hopefully, Marnie, I'll have all kind of things to share with you, as well as our Peep Show watchers. So our next Peep Show will not be next week, but here's when it will be, so you can mark your calendar. It will be Tuesday, September 23rd. And it will be at 2 Eastern, 1 Central, and I guess that would be 11 Pacific, right? So the 23rd, mark it Tuesday the 23rd. I will just have been back, and it will have a day. Marnie and I both have a day in the office, and then she's leaving to go off to Utah for an event, so she'll be able to tell us about that too when she comes back. So that's it for now, other than I do want to remind people about my Amazon book. If you have not checked out the How to Get More Clients and Help More People ebook, which is less than $5 on Amazon, you can go to confidentmarketer.com/how to get clients, and that link will take you to the Amazon Kindle store. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks, and Marnie, I'll be talking to you.
All right. See ya. Everybody go get her book. It's good.
Thanks, Marnie. Bye-bye.